All right, let's explore this further. Today's Constitutional Court judgment has huge implications for government, but it has also effectively clipped the wings of a private company, CPS, that of course is the administrator of those payments, and it's obliged to be so for the next 12 months. CPS had wanted to increase its fee to continue its services, but the court has declared that the company should continue on the terms of the existing contract and not charge more unless it provides Treasury with good reason for an adjustment, which must then be condoned by the court. Well, the scrutiny of the last month has highlighted concerns around those practices of CPS's parent company Net1 that has been offering other services to grant beneficiaries. And of course, this made all the easier by the access to contact information. Investment firm Allan Gray is a large local shareholder in Net1, owning more than 15% on the company on behalf of clients, and it's expressed concern about the company's conduct. Let's get some reaction now to discuss. We're joined by Allan Gray's Chief Operating Officer, Rob Dower. He's live in Sea Point. Thank you for joining us, Rob. Can you give us a response to today's judgment? You were saying that CPS should not be seen to be profiting from a crisis. The court has tried to prevent that. Your response to what they said today?
Yeah, thanks, Francis. I thought the judgment was excellent. We welcomed the constraints that it placed on CPS. We welcome the fact that it seems to have solved the crisis for now over who would pay out the grants. I thought it was a well-crafted judgment, and we welcomed it. We have had some concerns about CPS for a while, and you're right. Kind of late, the anecdotal evidence that they've been behaving either illegally or at least unethically is mounting. And increasingly, it's looking like the reliance that we placed on court proceedings a year or so ago when they were challenged for their practices, and the reliance we placed on the CEO's affidavits under oath may not have been well placed. So we've ramped up some pressure on the board, and of course the board's job is to hold management to account, and we're waiting eagally to see how they react.
Okay, so you're basically saying
Francis
that...
Also, sorry.
Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, if I may just say that one of the things, there were two things that really kind of made us concerned in the last couple of days. The one was that the CEO has said that his shareholders require a healthy profit margin. I can't remember what words he used, but certainly the numbers he used sounded very healthy. A healthy profit margin from the extension of the contract. And we wanted to be very clear. We thought we had been clear with him already, but we wanted to be very clear that for our 16% of the company, we require no profit margin on an extension of the contract. So, and we're very keen to hear from the other 84% shareholders. But I would hope that that they would also go on record in public to say that the extension of this contract should be done at cost. And then the second thing that caught our attention was an excellent article by Amabungani, which was well researched and which showed quite a lot of well-substantiated evidence about their practice in the field, the CPS's practice, and we have called on management to respond to these allegations publicly and help us understand, why they're doing what they're doing and if they have any explanation.
Yeah, it sounds like you really don't trust the man in charge. You're questioning things that he said even under oath. So you were mulling over calling shareholders together. Will that still happen? Will there still be a lot of engagement?
Well, I hope that they will react to what's now quite public pressure. We've had private pressure in the past, but we're hoping that the board will react to what we've said, and we're looking forward to the reaction. And then we'll assess things. But we do have the ability, because we're on behalf of our clients, we have more than 10% of the company. We have the ability to call a shareholders meeting. What we don't have the ability to do on our own, anyway, without other shareholders voting at that meeting, is to remove the board. But if it came to it, we would certainly attempt to do that. Yeah.
Rob, can we clarify something? The infrastructure is already there. CPS has put it in place. Now it gets to provide these services for a longer period. Even without an increase, isn't it reasonable to suspect that they are making a great profit, that this is a good situation for them?
I don't know what the economics of their business are, Francis. I also, in my day job, I look after IT infrastructure for Allan Gray, and we have lots of software developers that are involved just in keeping things going, not necessarily even in building new things. So it may well be that they have quite a lot of costs that they incur. I think that the court's insistence that their costs and any profits that they might have made are publicly published after the end of this contract is a good one. And it will take some accountants to go and work out whether or not they've acted improperly or unethically then, but we'd be very keen to see what the result of that is at the end as well.
You would prefer...
So, the CEO has said that he wants to replace his infrastructure and that the cars are the vans are breaking down. I don't know sufficient detail of his cost base to know whether that's justifiable or not.
Okay, but can we clarify, you would prefer a situation where the costs are just covered, which is a very unusual stance for an investor in a business to say, we don't want this business to be making profits. Do you think the situation justifies that?
So we would like the business to be making profits, but we think this piece of the business doesn't need to be making profits for it to be an attractive investment. We are still excited and we're happy to be invested on behalf of our clients in the infrastructure that this business owns. But the really critical thing is that the infrastructure has the power to do good and to do harm, and this company is now no longer really as much in the technology business as it is in the financial services business. And being in financial services, maybe it's because of our business that we understand that you really have to win your clients' trust. Your customers have to trust you if you're in financial services. And the way for this business, the value here to be maximized is not for them to try and take advantage of the very powerful position that they're in, which is a short-term thing, but much more for them to try and regain the public's trust, so that the great infrastructure that they have can then be used for the good of the many millions of people that they could serve in South Africa, and not and for them not to abuse the trust that they've got.
Rob, final question. Is there a danger here that if we are too harsh on CPS, other companies around the world will be very careful about doing business with the state in South Africa? Maybe they will even charge much more because of the inconveniences possibly down the line.
Yes, of course, that's a danger. It's the dilemma, I think, that the Constitutional Court faced. I suspect that they probably didn't want to reappoint CPS, but CPS are now in a position where they almost have to be reappointed. It was our dilemma as well, and continues to be, as we consider, how to hold management to account, which is our job on behalf of our clients. Holding them to account means that we also mustn't destabilize the business, and it could well be that the CEO's technical skills almost outweigh what seems to be his great difficulty in dealing with the public. So I don't know, if a foreigner looks at the situation here and says, oh, that makes South Africa less attractive to enter into arrangements with the government, I would hope that what they conclude is that if you want to enter into arrangements with the government, that ultimately you will be held to account, if not by the department in the government that you're dealing with, then ultimately by the Constitutional Court of our country, which I think has acted. I'm very happy with the way that they seem to have defended, all of our interests.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Rob Dower, the COO of Allan Gray, live from Seapoint.